of weeks, same as usual now at this point, I think I get to say. You can start in whatever beginning position will best serve you this evening. So that could be something a little bit different for everyone. It could be something a little bit different every single week. So wherever you think you would like to start with any of those initial ranges of motion. So as if you're a cat, cow, or a child's pose to cobra, or a downward facing dog person, you can start there. If you are a comfortable seated position person, you can start there. And we're going to start this evening with just our scan of the body. As always, the scan is without any judgment. So as you take your scan from the top of the head to the tips of the toes, all we're doing is noticing how you're feeling, noticing what's going on in the body, noticing any points of tension, any spaces that need that little bit of extra care and a little bit of extra leeway this evening, and also those places that feel particularly good, and you can give that little extra push this evening. As you take that scan and as you notice those places and spaces, I invite you to take any initial range or ranges of motion that will best serve your practice this evening, will best serve your body this evening: a spinal twist, a roll of the head and the neck, a cat and cow, a downward facing dog, maybe a forward fold, wherever you're feeling. We've got about 6 nice deep breaths in any of those initial ranges of motion. And taking about 2 more nice deep breaths just to finish that out. And as you do finish that out, just making your way back to comfortable seated. We're just going to start with our same 4 regular ranges of motion: head and the neck, spinal twist, lateral stretch, and forward fold. So we'll start with the roll of the head and the neck as you make your way back to that comfortable seated position. That next inhale finds that nice long spine. That exhale drops the chin to the chest, moving at a pace that feels good for you tonight. Rolling that head side to side, right ear towards that right shoulder. As always, you can reach down a little bit if that feels good, or you can keep those hands in your lap. Exhale pulls the chin back to the chest through center, and then our inhale rolls the head to the other side. So that nice, easy side to side, again, at a pace that feels good. So if you like a little extra hold, feel free to add that. If you prefer to move a little bit quicker, feel free to move a little bit quicker. And just taking that one more time in each direction. As always, feel free to find that third change of direction to even out and make sure you hit that second side with the final side. When you do finish that second side, that next exhale drops the chin back to the chest. And then that inhale lifts that head back up nice and long, right back to center, that comfortable seated position. Taking your time finishing out those last 2 or 3, and then we'll move into our lateral stretch whenever you're done. So that next big inhale afterwards takes those arms out and up towards the ceiling, starting off with just a nice big stretch long away from center. And then that exhale brings that right hand down, that left arm up over top, keeping the chest open, trying to not close it down towards the floor. You can always bring it down to the palm or down to the elbow. Inhale up through center. Exhale in that second direction. Same thing, keeping the chest open, going as deep as you feel good going. And then go ahead and move at a pace that feels good for you. So side to side, maybe a little faster, maybe keeping that little bit of an extra hold in either direction. Fabulous, fabulous. Making sure you find that nice stretch through center. One more time each direction here. Again, feel free to find that third change of direction to even out if you need it. When you finish that, we're gonna go right into that spinal twist. So same as usual. That last inhale brings those arms back up long. If you like to take it right into that spinal twist, you can go right into it, or you can circle the arms down and then find that first direction spinal twist. Opposite hand to the outside of that leg, same side hand around behind the back. Our inhales pull us through center, arms low or high. Exhale in that second direction. Again, go ahead and move at your own pace, side to side, nice and easy. However deep, however much pressure you need to put into those arms for this kind of twist to feel good, to feel effective. Fabulous, fabulous. And go ahead one more time in each direction. Again, evening up, hitting that second side at that final. When you finish that out, that next inhale brings you back to center. And if you were taking those arms up, that exhale just circles them down and around. When you get there, we're going to just take another brief scan of the body, this time with the intention of finding just a little bit of extra release and relaxation. So the first time we noticed how we were feeling, we noticed where that tension was. Now we've moved a little bit. And now what we're going to do is just take a moment and notice where that tension remains and where we can find that little bit of extra release of tension. So personally, I hold a lot of tension in my jaw and in my shoulders. So this scan for me finds my jaw relaxing and releasing, the muscles in my face releasing, my shoulders nice and low away from my ears. Maybe for you, you can allow your face to relax a little bit by just bringing your gaze towards the floor or gently closing your eyes. Maybe bringing your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Maybe wiggling the fingers and toes to release any of that final tension. Maybe it's just a slight readjustment of those legs or of that torso. Just two more breaths here, just kind of nice neutral, just finding that extra release, especially on those exhales. Fabulous. And then we've got one final kind of warm up range of motion. I'm just going to turn sideways so I can take my legs out long and you can still see them. We've just got a nice, easy front to back. So now this one is really self-paced. So if you prefer to hold in a forward fold, you don't need to go front to back as often as I will. However, if you like to move and groove a little bit more, then maybe you keep the flow going. First, we're just going to lean back, placing those hands right behind the hips, opening up through the chest, pulling the shoulder blades together. Maybe let the head tilt back. And then as we exhale, we're just going to pull it up and over forward through our long spine and then fold it forward. So this is where if you just like that forward fold hold, if this feels really good, you can stay right here for a couple of extra breaths. But if you'd like to move a little bit more, especially getting into this stretch for the first time, feel free to keep it moving front to back. Maybe each inhale pulls you in each direction. Maybe you find one full inhale and exhale in either direction. So you've got plenty of options, just choosing the one that feels right for you. You don't need to stick to the same pattern for the next couple of breaths. You could take it a little shorter to start and then eventually take it a little bit longer. Fabulous. And we've just got two more nice deep breaths here. So if you'd like to end with a hold when in that forward fold, feel free to. Or for those last two, you want to move front to back, feel free. About one more breath there. Excellent. And then if you were holding in that fold, just go ahead and release it. Bring it up to a nice long spine. Alrighty, we're going to bring it on around to hands and knees. Feel free to grab a sip of your beverage or any final range of motion that feels good as you make that readjustment. And then bringing it on over. When you get there, those knees come right underneath those hips. Those wrists, as always, can be right under the shoulders or a little bit out in front if that feels good. And when you do get there, just go ahead right into that cat-cow for our first little range of motion here from this position. That inhale presses the belly towards the floor. Our exhale rounds the spine up towards the ceiling. Just a few times in each direction here. And if you did stop to take that sip or find that extra range of motion, take your time getting here. Just join us when you do. Fabulous. Wherever you are, let's go ahead and take two more nice deep breaths. So twice more in each direction here. And then we'll just bring it back to that neutral, hands and knees. Nice long spine. The pelvis comes kind of even and natural. And then we're going to turn it into a lateral stretch. This one's going to be more of a hold. So I want you to go ahead and look over that right shoulder. When you get there, we're going to pull that right hip up towards your gaze. So we're shortening the right side of the body. We're lengthening the left side of the body. You are more than welcome to stay right here if this feels good, or if you're balanced a little off today. But if you want to take it up a notch, we're going to take that left foot and step it out as if we were going to step into a plank. So planting that toe down on the ground, and then we'll step it around to the outside of that right leg. So we're just creating even more length through the left side of the body, just closing a little bit more through the right side of the body. From there, again, you can stay right here, right where you were, or you can add that hand. So same thing, left hand is going to step around to the opposite side of the right hand. So I've got a whole ton of length from my left fingertips all the way around the body to my left toes. If the balance is off or that doesn't feel good for any reason, feel free to keep it at center and just look over the shoulder and pull the hip up. One more breath in this direction. And then wherever you were there, just go ahead and bring it back. The knee comes down, the hand comes down, the spine comes back to neutral. Same thing other side. Looking over the left shoulder first, pulling the left hip up towards your gaze. When you get there, just take that analysis, see if you want to take it up a notch. And then we've got that right leg stepping back. Those toes can come down around to the outside of that left leg. Take that moment and see how that feels. And then again, if you'd like to take it up a notch, that right hand can step around to the opposite side of the left, just completing that extra little bit of length from the fingertips around to the toes. One more breath on this side. And then go ahead and bring it on back to center, hands and knees. One more stretch from this position is going to be our spinal twist or thread the needle. We're just going to do 3 times in each direction on each side. So our next inhale takes that right arm up towards the ceiling for that nice spinal twist, that nice stretch. That exhale threads it down and through, almost bringing that shoulder to the floor and just focusing on our spinal twist here. Inhale takes us up. Exhale brings us down and through. And then one more time, each direction. Down and through. And then after that second time down and through, one more time, we're going to take it up and then we'll set that hand down. So with that following inhale, we take it up one final time and then we set that right hand down. Same thing on the left, 3 times each direction plus that last upward spinal twist. So inhale takes us up, exhale brings us down. Inhale takes us up. And if you're moving a little faster or slower, as always, that is fine. And then that final time. And don't forget that final inhale to take those fingertips back up towards the ceiling. And then our exhale sets that left hand down next to the right. Next, we're going to find our first downward facing dog of the practice. Curling those toes under, taking a moment, and then pressing those hips up and back. As always, for this first inversion and this first big lower body stretch, be gentle with yourself. If you need to keep the head a little bit lifted or those knees a little bit bent, maybe you pedal out those heels. Taking just a moment to kind of settle into this position as much as you can. For some people, this is a little bit more of a resting position than others. For others, it may be a little bit more of a challenging position to hold for longer. That's okay. Awesome. We're going to take that right foot, bring it to our 3-legged dog. So pressing it up and back just briefly. Then we're going to bend that left knee, sweep the right leg forward and plant it down. From here, we've just got a stretch. So that left knee is going to come down to the mat. Top of that left foot is going to come down to the mat. We're going 3 times again in each direction. Our exhale presses those hips forward for that hip flexor stretch. That inhale presses them backwards, lengthens the front leg, lifts the front toes, hinge forward at the hips. Once again, pressing it forward. And then backwards. And that 3rd time in each direction, pressing it forward. And then backwards. All right, we're gonna come 3/4 of the way back to that lunge. So I want you to plant the right foot, bend the right knee, kind of bring the knee right above the ankle. And then we're gonna bring it up to that long spine. So we did this the other day in our practice, just changing the orientation of that hip flexor stretch. So we're just going to turn those hips under, so just facing the bottom of the pelvis a little bit further forward, kind of tipping it back into that strong core. And then just pressing slightly further forward, changing the orientation of that stretch to make it a little more intense on the hip flexor, on the quad, focusing more there on that strong core. Fabulous. Just kind of release that slightly once. And then bring it back into it one final time. So reorienting, pressing the bottom of that pelvis forward, activating the core. Excellent. And then just go ahead and release that. We're just going to switch sides. So if you'd like to go through the downward facing dog, that's where I'll head. If you prefer to go through hands and knees, you're more than welcome to. So I'm going to curl the left toe under, take the right back to meet the left, and then I've got my three-legged dog to take the left forward. We'll just meet in that low lunge. That right knee meets the mat. The top of that right foot meets the mat. We've got our 3 times in each direction. So our exhale presses those hips forward. Our inhale presses us backwards, lengthens that left leg, lifts those left toes. Same thing once again, pressing it forward. And then backwards. And our final time in each direction, bring it forward. And then backwards. Awesome. And then we're finding that 3/4 of the way. So just back to that kind of neutral low lunge, lift the torso, find your balance, turn those hips underneath, and just pressing slightly further forward just to find that nice and tight stretch through that right hip flexor. Activating through the core, pulling the belly button in towards the spine. Fabulous. Go ahead and just release just slightly. So releasing our tension just a little bit. And then one more time back into that nice stretch. Awesome, awesome, fabulous. Go ahead and just slightly release that. Again, you can find a different transition. We're gonna meet this time at hands and knees. So if you'd like to go through downward dog, that's where I'm gonna head. If not, you can just step that left leg back around, plant the knee, and plant those hands. So I'm gonna curl my right toe under, lift the knee, and then send my left back to meet the right. And then nice and easy, just floating those knees down to the mat for hands and knees. When you get there, we've got 1 cat and cow in each direction. So inhale, belly towards the floor, hips up, maybe lift the chin. Exhale, round the spine up towards the ceiling, tuck the chin in and the hips underneath. And then bring it back to that neutral spine. Curl those toes under. We're gonna lift those knees up for our bear. So just slightly 2 or 3 inches up off the floor, little activation of our core, working those shoulders here, keep the shoulder blades separated. Let's step back into our plank. Extending those feet back nice and long, keeping that core activated. Excellent, excellent. Downward facing dog, hips up and back. Nice. 3-legged dog, right foot, press it up towards the ceiling. Bend the left knee, sweep the right leg forward, plant it down. Long left leg. Excellent. When you get here, let's take it up into our crescent. Sweep the arms up, keep that nice bend in that right knee. That long left leg, as long as you can get it. If you need a little bend in that knee for that hip, that's totally fine. We've got 2 knee repeaters towards the center. I want to work on balance today, so I want this to be super slow and controlled. We're going to take our weight onto our right foot. So if you need a little readjustment, feel free to. Take those arms up. That left knee and those elbows are going to come together. I want a little pause at the top and then a step back out. After that, we've got 1 more of those exactly like that. Bringing it in, little pause at the top for balance, and then stepping it back out to that crescent. Awesome. Let's take it to our warrior 2. Left heel turns down, arms open up. Nice bend through that right knee still, nice strong core, still long torso. Excellent. We're gonna take this to our triangle. Lengthen that right leg. We're hinging forward at the hips like someone's trying to hand you a $100 bill out here. And then those right fingertips go down, those left fingertips go up. Trying to stack those shoulders, so same as our lateral stretch was. Excellent. We're gonna turn this into our extended side angle. So all we're gonna do is keep that torso where it is, bend that right knee, and bring that hand to the inside of that bent knee, nice and supported. Now for our next time through, after we hit our second side, we're gonna take this to our half moon, which would just be that balance pose on our right leg. But for this time through, we're just gonna step it to our fold. So I want you to take that left leg, circle it around, and step it forward to meet the right. Forward fold, fabulous. We're taking this up to our extended mountain, which will take us to our lateral stretches. Inhale, rolls us all the way up. Extended mountain arms up overhead. Lateral stretch once each direction. Right hand down, left arm up. Inhale through center. Second side. Inhale through center. Exhale, take it back to that fold. Fingertips down towards the toes. Nice. From here, we're going to step it back to our plank. So bend those knees, plant those hands, step those feet back nice and long into that plank. From here, let's take it back into our bear. So float those knees, but step those feet in. And then very gently go ahead and send those knees down to the mat. Excellent. 1 cat and cow. Inhale, belly towards the floor. Exhale, round the spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale, spine back to neutral. Curl those toes under, float those knees there. Awesome. So getting that core activated, those knees are 2 or 3 inches up off the mat. Those shoulders are still right over the wrists. The knees are still right over the hips. Step it back to plank. Little hold here, keeping that core work going. Awesome job, you guys. Nice. Let's take it to our downward facing dog. Hips go up and back. From here, 3-legged dog. Left leg presses up and back. Bend that right knee, sweep our left leg forward, plant it down. That takes us to our crescent. Find your balance, sweep it up. Awesome work, awesome work. All right, we've got those 2 knee repeaters. So any small adjustment you need so that you can find that balance on that left leg. And then knee and elbows come together. Little pause at the top for that balance work. And then back out. And then one more time, just like that. Nice and controlled, in towards center, little pause, and then back out. Awesome. This takes us to our warrior 2. Right heel turns down, arms open. Which takes us to our triangle. Lengthen that left leg, hinge forward at those hips. So send those fingertips out and those hips back, and then cartwheel down. Left hand down, right arm up. Trying to work on stacking those shoulders. Keep that core activated. Fabulous work, fabulous work. All right, we're changing this to our extended side angle by bending that left knee, keeping that left hand down. Again, this is where next time we will go into our half moon, but for this time, we're just gonna step that right foot forward to meet the left into our forward fold. Awesome, extended mountain to our lateral stretches. Inhale rolls us all the way up. Lateral stretch first direction. Inhale brings us up through center. Exhale, second direction. Inhale up through center. Exhale, fold it forward. Awesome, awesome, fabulous. All righty, let's take it down to our plank. Bend those knees, plant those hands, step it back nice and long. Fabulous, looking good, looking good. Let's step it into our bear. Knees still float, keep those hips low. Next exhale, just go ahead and send those knees gently down to the mat. We've got just a few extra breaths here. If you'd like a sip, if you'd like to roll out those wrists, if you'd like to sit back to child's pose, you're welcome to. If not, you're welcome to go right into our cat and cow, and I'll meet you there in just a moment. I am going to grab a sip. Awesome, awesome. Making your way back to that cat and cow if you diverted it to somewhere else. And we've got 2 more deep breaths in our cat and cow. We get going. Awesome, awesome. On your next inhale, we're just bringing that spine back to neutral. Let's take it into our bear. Curl those toes under, float those knees up. Nice. Keeping that core pulled in. Let's step it back to our plank. Awesome, awesome. Lots of plank work today. You guys are killing it. Press those hips up and back, downward facing dog. Nice. Let's take it through our 3-legged dog. Right foot presses up and back. Bend that left knee, sweep our right foot forward, plant it down. When you get there, find your balance, sweep it up to crescent. Nice, finding that nice long torso, those nice long arms. Let's take it to those 2 knee repeaters again. Any small adjustment that you need, feel free to take it. And then that left knee and those elbows pull in towards center, a little balance, and then extend back out. One more time, just like that. Pulling in towards center, a little balance in the middle, and then back out. Awesome, awesome. Warrior 2, left heel turns down, arms open. Lengthen that right leg. Here comes our triangle. Hinge at those hips first, and then right fingertips come down, left fingertips go up. Nice. All right, let's take this to that extended side angle. Bend that knee, a little more balance. We're just moving our fingertips a little further forward here. And that bent knee, this extended side angle, is just going to prepare us to bring it towards our half moon. We've got some options here for this half moon. We're going to bring our weight onto that right foot. I like to kind of step my fingertips around to the outside of my foot and use the floor or a block for a little bit of balance. I'm going to press up to here. When I get there, maybe your toes come down. Maybe you've got that balance already going. Either way, our end goal is to try and open those hips and that chest around. So I'm trying to stack my shoulders. I'm trying to open my hips, but I'm using my fingertips for a little support. Maybe you instead can't quite reach the floor, so you use your toes for support. One more breath in any of those options for that half moon. And then that next exhale steps that left down next to the right and then brings that hand down into our forward fold. Awesome. Next inhale all the way up, extending out. Lateral stretch once each direction, one hand down, other arm up. Inhale up to center. Exhale, second side. Inhale up to center. Exhale, fold it forward, fingertips towards the toes. Awesome. Let's take one halfway lift here. Find that nice flat back, that long spine, that active core. Exhale, fold it forward, bend those knees, plant those hands, step it back to our plank. That nice high push-up plank position, getting that core activated. Nice. Awesome. Let's step it into our bear. Keep those knees floating if you can. Fabulous. Next exhale, gently send those knees back down to the mat. And then we've got our cat and cow. Inhale, belly towards the floor, lift the hips, possibly the chin. Exhale, spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale brings the spine back to center. Back to our bear we go. Curl those toes under, lift those knees. I saw a bear this weekend. I was in the woods, ran across the street. Very cute, baby bear. Go ahead and step it back to that plank. My first bear sight, surprising. Keep that core active here. Keep those shoulders over those wrists. Fabulous work. Don't forget to breathe. Good. Press those hips up and back, downward facing dog. Nice. All right, left leg, three-legged dog. Press it up and back. Bend that right knee. Sweep the left leg forward. Make sure that ankle is underneath our knee. Find your balance. Sweep the arms. Nice. Alrighty, from here, we've got that repeater, so you can right over top of that left leg. We're pulling that knee in towards center, little balance, and then extending back out. Same thing one more time. Pulling it in towards center, little balance, and then extend back out. There we go. All right, fabulous. From that crescent, let's take it to our warrior two. Right heel turns down, arms open. Awesome, awesome. Triangle pose next. Lengthen that left leg. Hinge forward at those hips. Fingertips then come down. Right fingertips go up. Stacking those shoulders. Awesome, awesome. All right, here we go. Extended side angle bends that left knee. Just brings us into it a little bit deeper. And then we've got that option for our half moon here. So if the half moon doesn't work for you, you can stay right here for another couple of breaths. If it does, I gave you all those options. So fingertips can come down, toes can stay down. We can kind of work somewhere in between, working on opening those hips and that chest. Keep it right there, keep it right there. Give me another breath or two. Nice, this is a tough balance pose. You guys are doing great. Next exhale sends that foot down to meet the other forward fold. Nice, all right, let's take that inhale all the way up to our extended mountain. Lateral stretch, one time in the first direction. Inhale up through center, and second direction. Inhale back up through center. Exhale, fold this forward. Fabulous. We've got that halfway lift, that nice flat back, long spine. And our exhale folds this forward. Bend those knees, plant those hands, step it back nice and long to that plank position. Awesome. Great, hold, bring it into our bear. Bring it into our bear, almost there, almost there. Next exhale sends those knees down to the mat for that cat and cow. This time we're gonna do 4 cat and cow. So 4 nice deep breaths. If you need to make any adjustments, grab a sip, roll out the wrists. This is your great opportunity to do so. Awesome, fabulous. Finishing out that fourth cat and cow, and then bringing that spine back to our neutral. Nice long spine. All right, we're gonna work to try and hit one more time on each side. We might move a little bit faster just to try and get it squeezed into this first 40 minutes. If we do run out of time, I will just take the first few minutes of our second meeting to finish out whatever we have left. Curl those toes under, send those knees up, bear pose. Nice, step it back to our plank. Send those hips up, downward facing dog. Right foot, three-legged dog, press it up and back. Bend that left knee, sweep that right leg forward, plant it down. Crescent lunge, sweep the arms up. Working towards that balance. We've got those two knee repeaters. Feel free to readjust if you need to first. And then left knee in towards those elbows. A little balance here in center. And then extend back out. One more time, just like that. Pulling it in. A little balance right in center. And then extending back out. Awesome. Long torso brings us to our warrior two. Left heel turns down, arms open. Triangle pose, lengthens that right leg, hinge forward at those hips. Fingertips come down, right fingertips down, left fingertips up. Awesome, bend that right knee to that extended side angle. And here comes our half moon. Little readjustment if you need to, find any version of it that works for you. Fingertips down, maybe toes down. Opening those hips, fabulous, fabulous. Next, exhale, sends that left foot down to meet the right. Fingertips come down, forward fold. Inhale, rolls us up, extended mountain. Lateral stretch once each direction, right hand down, left arm up. Inhale up through center. Second side. Inhale up through center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, long spine. Exhale, fold it forward, bend those knees, plant those hands, step it back, high plank position. Fabulous, fabulous. Let's step it into our bear. And next exhale, gently sends those knees down. Alrighty, looks like we should have time. We've got one cat and cow. Inhale, belly towards the floor. Exhale, spine up towards the ceiling. Bring that inhale to that neutral spine. Back to our bear we go. Curl those toes under, lift those knees, find that hold. Keep that core engaged. Nice. Keep it there, keep it there. Good, and step it back. Back to that plank, back to that plank. Awesome. Downward facing dog, hips up and back. Three-legged dog takes that left foot up and back. Bend that right knee, sweep that left leg forward, plant it down. Find your balance, ankle underneath, sweep the arms up, crescent. Nice, 2 repetitions here. Find your balance, bring it in towards center, and extend back out. One more time, just like that. Bring it in towards center, and extend back out. When you get there that second time, that long torso comes back, and let's take it to our warrior two. Right heel turns down, arms open. Nice. Lengthen the left leg. Hinge forward at the hips. Fingertips come down, right fingertips go up. Triangle. Bend that knee, extended side angle. All right, here we go for this half moon. Finding your balance, taking your weight onto that left foot. Trying to find that open hip, that parallel spine, those stacked shoulders. One more breath here, one more breath here. Exhale, sends that right foot down to meet the left, forward fold. Fabulous work, you guys. Inhale rolls us all the way up, extended mountain. One lateral stretch each direction, right hand down, left arm up. Inhale through center. Exhale, second side. Inhale up to center. Exhale, fold it forward, fingertips towards the tips. Inhale finds our halfway lift, flat back, long spine. Exhale, folds it forward. Plant those hands, step it back, high push-up plank position. Nice, nice. Let's step it into that bear, curl those toes under, keep those knees floating, find a little hold of this 40 minutes. Bring it down here so I can see you. Okay, so starting out at hands and knees here, we'll go right into that cat and cow just to get started with that initial range of motion and kind of meet on that common ground. So that inhale, pressing the belly towards the floor, that exhale, rounding the spine up towards the ceiling. Just a few nice deep breaths here in this cat and cow. We've been doing a lot of this tonight. Awesome. All right, with your next inhale, just go ahead and bring the spine back to our neutral, our nice long spine. We'll go into those lateral stretch holds one more time in each direction here next. So looking over that right shoulder, pulling that right hip up towards your gaze. Again, those two extra options. Left leg can step back and around to the outside of that right foot, or left arm can step around to the outside of that right hand, or both. So you can choose one if one is a better option for you and your balance is a little off. You can go for both or you can go for neither. One more breath here. And then stepping it back to center. So bringing that left hand back around, that left knee back down, and then looking over that left shoulder, pulling our left hip up. So shortening the left side of the body, right leg steps back long and around to the outside if you'd like. Right hand can step around to the outside if you'd like, or both, or neither. One more breath here. And then bringing it back to center. And then we'll finish out these couple of quote unquote warm up, re-warm up range of motion with our thread the needle. So next inhale, right arm lifts up, that spinal twist. Exhale brings us down and through, thread the needle underneath almost to the floor. And then we'll do that twice more. Inhale, lifts us up. Exhale brings us down and through. One more time all the way through. Inhale lifts us up. Exhale brings us down. And then on that final one, just go ahead and find that lift one last time. That next inhale lifts us up. And exhale brings that right hand back down next to the left. Same thing, left side. Inhale lifts us up, open up. Exhale brings us down and through. Inhale brings us up. Exhale brings us down. Fabulous. One more time, fully through. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then on that last inhale, we're lifting up long one more time. And then that left hand comes down next to the right. All right, we're gonna go back to those cat and cows, but if you can roll of the wrists or a sit before we get moving again, we're gonna do 4 nice deep breaths. So again, you can join us whenever if you do need that roll of the wrists or that sip of your drink, which I am going to take that sip of my drink. Awesome, rejoining whenever. We've got 2 more cat and cows, 2 more nice deep breaths here. When you finish that second one, find that neutral spine once again, and then we're bringing it into our bear. Crawling those toes under, sending those knees up 2 or 3 inches up off of the mat, keeping the knees underneath the hips. Fabulous work. Nice, let's step it back to our plank. Back to that plank, back to that plank. A little more shoulder and core work. Nicely done, nicely done. Downward facing dog, hips up and back. Awesome. 3-legged dog, right foot, press it up and back, little stretch. Bend the left knee, sweep the right foot underneath, plant it down. When you get there, find your balance, ankle underneath, sweep the arms up, crescent lunge. Excellent. Got those 2 knee repeaters. Readjusting, making sure your balance can be on that right leg, and then knee in towards the elbows, finding that little bit of balance here at center, and then extending back out, crescent. One more time, just like that. Pulling in towards center. And extending back out, crescent. Find that long torso at the end of that one, and we'll take it into our warrior two. Left heel turns down, arms open. Nice. Go ahead and take that bend out of that right knee. Let's hinge it forward with those hips. And then cartwheel it down, right hand and left arm go opposite directions. Triangle. Which takes us to our extended side angle. Bend that right knee, which gives us that readjustment to come back into that half moon. So finding that balance on that right leg if you can. Trying to find that nice even torso and leg, but again, feel free to keep those toes a little closer towards the ground or those fingertips a little closer towards the ground, working on opening those hips. Nice, fabulous, fabulous. One more breath, big inhale. Exhale, sets that left foot down next to the right, left arm comes down, forward fold. Awesome job. Extended mountain to lateral stretches. Inhale rolls us all the way up. Right arm comes down, left arm comes up. Inhale pulls us through center. Second side. Inhale pulls us up through center. Exhale folds us forward, fingertips towards the toes. Let's take that halfway lift. Find your flat back, long spine. Exhale folds us forward, bend those knees, plant those hands, step it back to our high push-up plank position. Awesome, a little bit of a hold here. If you need that little bit of extra assistance, if we're not feeling great in that plank, you can always send those knees down as long as there is still a long line from the knees to the shoulders. Step it into bear, step it into bear. Knees are still floating. Keep working, keep breathing. Awesome, awesome. Next, exhale sends those knees down to the mat. Fabulous work. Let's take it back to that cat-cow. Let's take two nice deep breaths. When you finish that second one, that inhale brings that spine back to neutral. And then we take it back to our bear once again, curling those toes under, sending those knees up 2 or 3 inches. Little shoulder and core work. Nice. Awesome job, you guys. Let's step it back to plank. Fabulous, fabulous. Keep holding here. Just another moment, just another moment. Hips up and back, down dog, down dog. Give those shoulders a little bit of a break. Give that core a little bit of a break. Nice, 3-legged dog, left foot sends up and back. Bend the right knee, sweep the left leg forward, plant it down, find your balance, sweep it up into our crest. Fabulous, we've got those repeaters. Pulling that knee in, finding your balance in center, and then extending back out. One more time, just like that. Pull it in towards center, find that balance, little hold there on that left leg, getting it ready for our half moon, send it back out, find that long torso. Warrior two, right heel turns down, arms open. Nice, let's find triangle next. Lengthen that left leg, hinge forward at those hips. Left fingertips to go down, right fingertips open up. Fabulous, let's turn this to our extended side angle. Bend that left knee, which transitions us into our half moon. Taking it on to that left leg. Again, finding your balance in whatever way best serves you. Working on that ideal to open the hips and the shoulders and keep the torso and spine parallel. Working on it. Doesn't mean you need to be there. Next exhale sets that right foot down next to the left. Right arm comes down, forward fold. Nicely done, you guys. Nicely done. Inhale all the way up, extended mountain. Let's take a lateral stretch once each direction. Left hand comes down, right arm comes up over top. Inhale brings us up through center. Exhale, second side. Inhale brings us up to center. Exhale circles us down. Well, let's take our halfway lift from our forward fold. Flat back, long spine. And then fold it forward, bend those knees, plant those hands, step it back to that high push-up plank position. Finding that little hold here. Awesome, step it into bear. Great work, great work. Keep that core activated, almost there, almost there. Two more breaths, two more breaths. Give me a big inhale and exhale. One more inhale. Exhale sends those knees down. Whoo, gives that little release. Just take two cat and cow for me here. When you finish those two cat and cow, you get to choose your recovery option. You can keep it going in the cat and cow. You can take those knees wide and send those hips back towards the heels for child's pose. You can grab a sip or find a different range of motion if child's pose or cat and cow is not your jam right now. We've got just a little bit of time here just to take some moments. We're going to stretch it out, and then we have, looks like possibly a couple moments for a Shavasana after some stretching. If you are in that child's pose, feel free to walk those hands side to side, or maybe take a child's pose to cobra. If you're at hands and knees in that cat and cow, you could choose either of those other options that we did for that warm-up. Fabulous. We've got 4 more nice deep breaths wherever you are. So same as our initial ranges of motion, choosing that thing that's going to feel good for those 4 breaths. Awesome. When you finish that 4th, I'm just going to sink my hips back kind of onto my heels and sit back onto my shins for just a couple rolls of the wrist. So if you want to bring it all the way over, if this is super uncomfortable for you, feel free to bring those hips down. But we won't spend much time at seated here. We're just going to find some nice wrist circles and then change that direction. Same thing other way. We did lots of work in that bear, that plank, that down dog. So giving them just a little bit of a break. And then the one more thing that we're going to do with this seated is some shoulder circles. So nice big circles of the shoulders, up and back or up and forward. Awesome. And then go ahead and change that direction. Nice. All right, 2 more of that direction. And then releasing those shoulders low away from the ears. From here, we are going to take it to that child's pose to cobra just a few times each direction. So those knees kind of under those hips, send those hips back towards that kind of modified child's pose with that exhale. And then with our inhale, we're going to press the hips forward into that cobra, or as always, baby cobra is a great option there. And then once more each direction, press those hips back towards that child's pose, and then forward towards that cobra or baby cobra. Fabulous, fabulous. Go ahead and just bring it up to hands and knees. We're going to take that transition to our low lunge. So if you'd like to move through down dog, you're welcome to, or I'm just going to take my right leg, circle it around, plant that foot, knee right over top of ankle. I'm going to come up to that long spine first. Then we're going to do the same thing that we started with, sending it forward, those hands down inside that leg. And then sending it back, hamstring stretch, toes up, front leg long. Just one more time each direction here. Pressing that forward, nice and long through that left leg, that left flexor. And then pressing it back, hamstring stretch. Awesome. And same way we started, that 3/4 of the way back towards center. So just back to that lunge, finding that long torso. Again, we're going to turn those hips under. So pressing the bottom of the pelvis out, the top of the pelvis in, and then pressing those hips as far forward as you need to go for that left hip flexor stretch. Maybe that just leaves you up kind of tall and you can still feel it. That's totally fine. Maybe you have to press a little further forward, depends on where your hip flexors are at. Just release it just slightly, and then we'll move into it just one final time. So last time on this side. Awesome. Go ahead and release that stretch. And again, if you'd like to go through down dog, you're welcome to. I'm just going to circle that right leg back around and then bring that left leg out to the front. Same thing on that second side. And then we have our little cool down Shavasana. So exhale presses us forward into that low lunge. Inhale presses us back, hamstring stretch. Exhale presses us forward, low lunge, one more time. And one more time backwards. Nice, 3/4 of the way, and then bringing that long torso. Turning those hips under and then pressing just slightly forward to find that kind of more intense quad and hip flexor stretch. Releasing it just slightly, and then bringing it back into it one final time. Awesome. Go ahead and release that, and then I'd like to invite you to make your way to your chosen final relaxation position, whatever that may be this evening. Maybe it's a child's pose, maybe you're down on your back, maybe you've got a legs up the wall situation that feels good for you. Maybe you're just kind of feeling seated tonight. That's totally fine. When you get to whatever that position may be, I invite you to take any final kind of range of motion or positioning that's not super relaxed, but will feel really good to finish off your practice. So maybe if you're on your back, it's a little bit of a stretch or a knees pulled in towards center. If you're seated, maybe it's a fold or a seated cat and cow. If you're in child's pose, maybe it's a side to side. Or something that I didn't mention, as always, is that. Just taking 2 more breaths wherever you are in that range of motion in that kind of different position. And then with that second breath, that second exhale, I want you to just find that release and relaxation. So if you're in that seated position, you might still be activating those postural muscles for that long spine, but everything else, try and relax. If you're down on your back, trying to really come down onto the floor and let gravity pull you down. If you're in child's pose, finding that release of the lower back, shoulders. When you get to that relaxed state, whatever that looks like for you, just taking your scan of the body to finish up practice tonight. So noticing how you're feeling, noticing where you're at as we finish up, noticing any points of tension that are the same as they were when we started, are different when we started, relaxed as we move through, or tensed as we move through. And then taking that second scan once again to find that little bit of extra release and relaxation. So relaxing, most importantly, the muscles in the face, the jaw, the eyes, tongue coming away from the roof of the mouth, making sure that those shoulders are relaxed, maybe kind of backwards if you're laying on your back, maybe down away from your ears if you're seated. Down to the fingers and the toes. Fabulous. All right, we're gonna take 3 nice deep breaths here. First one, I want a little tension and relaxation. So big inhale, find all that tension, squeezing through all those muscles, muscles in the face, muscles in the core. Exhale, releases and relaxes. Next one, length and pulling in towards center. Inhale finds length. So maybe it's arms up overhead, maybe your legs come long if they weren't already. Exhale folds us in towards center. So maybe you fold forward, maybe knees come in towards the chest, wherever you need to be. And then our inhale just kind of releases us from that. And then making your way back towards comfortable seated with your next exhale. So maybe roll towards your favorite side, maybe bring it up and over. As always with this final relaxation, if you aren't quite done, you can stay right where you are. And as we finish the meeting, you can continue your final relaxation. If not, we're in our comfortable seated position. We've just got 2 more nice deep breaths. First one, that inhale takes those arms out and up. That exhale circles the arms down and around. Second one, those palms are going to meet up overhead. So inhale takes the arms out and up. Palms meet right up overhead. Exhale pulls us down to heart center. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. This was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your Monday night, a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys next time. The light in me honors the light in you, bowing as we say, namaste. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being here.